I drove 15 hours to be there for my grandson's birth. At the hospital, my son stopped me. Mom, what are you doing here? My wife said, she doesn't want you around. It hurt, but I respected them and left. 4 days later, the hospital called. Ma'am, your grandson's delivery bill is $10,300. How would you like to pay? I took a deep breath and simply said, before we continue, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to hear my story. If you're comfortable, let me know where you're listening from and what time it is where you are. Now let me tell you my story. I was somewhere in South Carolina, about hour 9 of my 15-hour drive from Atlanta to Philadelphia, when the exhaustion really hit me. My hands ached from gripping the steering wheel. My back was stiff. My eyes were burning from staring at the highway in the darkness. But I didn't stop. I couldn't stop. My grandson was being born, my first grandchild, and I needed to be there. I'd left Atlanta at 3 in the afternoon on Tuesday, immediately after I saw the Facebook post from Chelsea's sister, baby's coming, at hospital now. My son Damon hadn't called me, hadn't texted. I'd found out my grandson was being born through social media. I tried calling Damon, no answer. Called again, no answer. Finally texted, I saw baby is coming, which hospital? I'm coming up. 2 hours passed before he responded. Pennsylvania hospital. But Mom, Chelsea only wants her family here. Maybe wait until we're home? I read that text 3 times, feeling something cold settle in my stomach. But I told myself I was overreacting, that Damon was stressed, that Chelsea was in labor and had specific ideas about who she wanted in the delivery room. That was normal. That was her right. I texted back, I won't intrude. I'll just be in the waiting room. I need to be there. No response, so I packed a bag, got in my car and started driving. 15 hours from Atlanta to Philadelphia, through the night, through my exhaustion, through the voice in my head that kept whispering that maybe I shouldn't go, that maybe I wasn't wanted. But he was my grandson, my first grandchild, my only child's first child. How could I not be there? I arrived at Pennsylvania Hospital at 6 in the morning, exhausted and emotional and excited despite everything. I found my way to the maternity ward waiting area, and that's where I saw them. Chelsea's entire family, her mother Barbara, her father Richard, her sister Nicole, her brother Tyler, even her grandmother. They were settled in like they'd been there all night, which they probably had, coffee cups everywhere. Snacks spread out on the tables. Comfortable, confident, belonging. They looked up when I walked in, looked surprised. Patricia? Barbara said, her tone making it clear I was unexpected. What are you doing here? Before I could answer, Damon came out of the hallway. He saw me and his face went through several expressions. Surprise, discomfort, something that looked like guilt. Mom? He walked over quickly, took my arm, pulled me aside. What are you doing here? I stared at my son. What do you mean, what am I doing here? My grandson is being born. Where else would I be? I told you Chelsea only wants her mom in the delivery room. I know that. I'm not asking to go in. I just want to be here, in the building, to meet my grandson as soon as he's born. Damon looked back at Chelsea's family, then at me. His voice dropped lower. Mom, Chelsea specifically said she doesn't want you here, at all. She wants only her family around. She's really stressed, and I need to respect her wishes. The words hit me like a physical blow. I am family, I said quietly. That's my grandson. I know, but it's Chelsea's delivery, her choice. She's been really clear about this. I'm sorry, Mom, but you need to go home. I looked past him at Chelsea's family, her mother, her father, her siblings, her grandmother, all sitting there comfortably, clearly planning to stay as long as needed. They weren't being asked to leave. Just me. Tell Chelsea congratulations, I said, fighting to keep my voice steady. Tell her I love her. Call me when the baby is born. Send pictures. I will. Thanks for understanding, Mom. Understanding, like I had a choice. Like being excluded from my grandson's birth was something I should just accept with grace. I walked out of that hospital with my head high and my heart breaking. I got to my car in the parking garage, sat behind the wheel and cried for 30 minutes. Then I started the engine and drove 15 hours back to Atlanta. But let me back up. Let me tell you how I got here. Because this didn't start with that hospital rejection. It had been building for years. My name is Patricia Louise Patterson, and I was born in 1957 in Atlanta, Georgia, to parents who taught me that dignity and hard work were the only things that could never be taken from you. I became a registered nurse in 1979, worked at Grady Memorial Hospital for 40 years, started in general nursing, worked my way up to charge nurse in the cardiac unit, retired in 2022 at 65. I married Leonard Patterson in 1985. We had one child, Damon, born in 1990. We were a good family, solid, loving, not rich, but stable. Leonard died in 2015 from colon cancer. He was only 58. It devastated me, devastated Damon, who was 25 at the time. Leonard left me $40,000 in life insurance. Left me our house that was almost paid off. We'd bought it in 1988 for $78,000. Would be worth about $410,000 by 2024. Left me his pension survivor benefits. By the time I retired in 2022, my financial situation was comfortable. House paid off and worth $410,000. Retirement savings of $380,000, pension of $3,200 per month, Social Security of $1,850 per month, total monthly income $5,050. Net worth approximately $790,000. I wasn't wealthy, but I was secure. I'd worked 40 years for that security. And I'd been generous with my son. Maybe too generous. I paid Damon's college tuition all 4 years at University of Georgia, $85,000 total. He graduated debt-free in 2012. I bought him his first car when he graduated, the 2012 Honda Accord, $15,000. When he got his first job and wanted to move out of my house, I helped him with rent and deposits, probably $8,000 over 2 years. When he got engaged to Chelsea in 2020, I gave them $40,000 as a gift for their house down payment. Just gave it. No strings, no loan, no expectation of repayment. When they got married in 2021, I paid for half the wedding, $18,000. Over the course of Damon's adult life, I'd given him approximately $160,000 in direct financial support. I did it because I loved him. Because I wanted to give him opportunities I didn't have. Because I could afford it and he was my only child. I never expected anything in return except respect and love. But respect became increasingly scarce after he married Chelsea. Chelsea Morgan, now Chelsea Patterson, came from a very different background than Damon and me. She grew up in the Philadelphia suburbs in a wealthy family. Her father Richard was an orthopedic surgeon. Her mother Barbara was a corporate lawyer. They had money, real money. The kind that bought private school educations and summer homes and European vacations. Chelsea had gone to an exclusive prep school, then to University of Pennsylvania. She worked in pharmaceutical marketing, made about $62,000 a year, which was good money but nothing compared to what her parents made. She met Damon at a pharmaceutical industry conference in 2018. He was in sales, she was in marketing. They hit it off. From what Damon told me, Chelsea's parents were skeptical about the relationship. They never said it outright, they were too educated, too polished for overt racism, but the implications were there. Are you sure about this? What do his people do? Where did he go to school? What's his financial situation? Chelsea dated him anyway. She was attracted to him, she said. He was handsome, charming, successful in his own right. But I always felt like she saw him as a project, someone from humble beginnings, that she was elevating by association with her world. The first time I met Chelsea was in 2019. About a year into their relationship, Damon brought her to Atlanta for a weekend. She walked into my house, my nice, well-maintained 3-bedroom home in a good neighborhood, and I saw her evaluate it. Saw her take in the furniture that was comfortable but not expensive, the decor that was tasteful but not designer, the kitchen that was functional but not renovated. "What a cute little house," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Very cozy." Cozy? The word people use when they mean small, modest, beneath them. "It's been my home for 36 years, I said evenly. "Raised my son here, made a lot of good memories here." "I'm sure," she said, already moving on to something else. Over that weekend, Chelsea made several comments that struck me as dismissive. When I cooked Sunday dinner, my famous fried chicken, collard greens, mac and cheese, cornbread, she said, "Oh, soul food. How authentic." I try to eat mostly plant-based now, but I'll try a little. She picked at her food, and later I heard her tell Damon she felt uncomfortable with all the heavy food. When I showed her photos of Damon as a child, she said, "Aw, he was so cute. You can really see how far he's come." As if where he'd come from was something to escape rather than something to be proud of. When we talked about my work as a nurse, she said, "That must have been so hard on your feet all day. I don't know how people do those kinds of jobs. I need mental stimulation, you know?" Implying nursing wasn't mentally stimulating. Implying my 40-year career was somehow less valuable than her marketing job. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, tried to think maybe she was nervous, maybe she didn't realize how her words came across, maybe she'd warm up over time. She didn't. As Damon and Chelsea's relationship got serious, the microaggressions continued. She'd post on social media about visiting Damon's humble roots in Atlanta, like my middle-class neighborhood was a charity case she was visiting. She'd make comments about how lucky Damon was to be joining her family, to have access to their connections and resources. She'd compare our families constantly, her father the surgeon, her mother the lawyer, their vacation home in the Hamptons, their country club membership, and my nursing career, my modest home, my working-class background, always with a smile, always wrapped in compliments. But the message was clear: her family was better than mine. Damon didn't seem to notice. Or if he did, he didn't say anything. When they got engaged in 2020, Chelsea's parents threw an elaborate engagement party at their country club. 200 people. Catered. A string quartet. I was invited, but I felt like an afterthought. I sat at a table with people I didn't know who barely spoke to me. Meanwhile, Chelsea's extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, family friends, were all integrated into the celebration, making speeches, taking photos, being included. I gave a toast that Chelsea's mother cut short. "Thank you, Patricia. That was lovely. Now let's hear from Chelsea's grandmother." I felt invisible. The wedding in 2021 was more of the same. Chelsea's family planned everything, made all the decisions, treated it like Chelsea's event that Damon was lucky to be part of. I offered to help plan. "That's sweet, but we have it handled." I offered to pay for things. I ended up contributing $18,000, which Chelsea's mother accepted but never acknowledged publicly. At the wedding, I was seated at a table in the back. Chelsea's family was at the head table. During the reception, Chelsea danced with her father, with her brothers, with her grandfather. She never asked Damon to dance with me. When Damon and I did dance during the mother-son dance, it was awkward and brief, and Chelsea was at the edge of the dance floor looking impatient. After the wedding, things got worse. Damon and Chelsea bought a house in the Philadelphia suburbs, using the $40,000 I'd given them plus money from Chelsea's parents. They settled into married life. Damon got promoted at work, was making about $78,000. Chelsea made $62,000. Combined income $140,000. They should have been comfortable, should have been able to save, invest, build security. Instead, they spent everything. Chelsea wanted to keep up with her friends from college. Wanted designer clothes, expensive restaurants, luxury vacations. They bought new cars. Damon got a BMW $850 month payment. Chelsea got an Audi $920 month payment. They joined a gym that cost $280 month for both of them. They spent $8,000 on a vacation to Turks and Caicos. They were living beyond their means, and I could see it. But when I gently suggested they might want to budget better, Chelsea got defensive. "We work hard. We deserve nice things. Not everyone wants to pinch pennies their whole life." The implication being that I'd pinched pennies because I had to, because I wasn't successful enough to live well. 6 months ago they announced Chelsea was pregnant. I was thrilled, overjoyed. My first grandchild. I called Damon immediately. "Congratulations, baby. I'm so happy for you." "Thanks, Mom. We're excited. Do you know if it's a boy or girl yet?" "Not yet. We'll find out in a few weeks. I can't wait to meet my grandbaby. Let me know how I can help. I can come up and help set up the nursery, or after the baby's born I can stay and help." "That's okay, Mom." Chelsea's mom is already planning to help with all that. "Oh, well, I can still help. 2 grandmas are better than 1. "Yeah, we'll see. I'll let you know." But he didn't let me know about anything. Chelsea's mother, Barbara, was immediately deeply involved in the pregnancy. She went to doctor appointments. She helped pick out nursery furniture. She threw the baby shower. I was invited to the baby shower, invited like a guest, not like family. The shower was at a country club in Philadelphia. 50 people, all Chelsea's friends, all Chelsea's family, a few of Damon's co-workers. I knew exactly 2 people there, Damon and Chelsea. I brought a generous gift, $500 worth of baby items from the registry. Chelsea opened it in front of everyone, said "Oh thanks Patricia" and moved on to the next gift. Meanwhile, when Barbara gave Chelsea a gift, a $1,200 stroller, Chelsea teared up. "Mom, this is perfect. Thank you so much. You're going to be the best grandmother." I sat there feeling invisible. The shower conversation was all about Grandma Barbara, how involved she was, how excited she was, how she'd be staying with them for 2 weeks after the baby was born to help. When someone asked, "And what about Damon's mom?" Chelsea said, "Oh, Patricia lives in Atlanta so she won't be around as much, but I'm sure she'll visit sometimes." Visit sometimes, like I was a distant relative instead of the baby's grandmother. After the shower, I tried to talk to Damon privately. "Baby, I feel like I'm being left out of this pregnancy. Chelsea's mom is so involved and I'm barely getting updates." "Mom, Barbara lives 20 minutes away. You live 8 hours away. It's just logistics. I can make the drive. I can be involved too." "I know, but Chelsea's really bonded with her mom through this. They're close. You understand, right?" I didn't understand, but I didn't want to cause problems. "Just promise me I'll be there when the baby's born. Promise me you'll call me when Chelsea goes into labor." "Of course, Mom. Of course you'll be there." He was lying. The baby was due in mid-November. As the due date approached, I texted Damon regularly asking for updates. "Any signs of labor?" "Not yet. Let me know as soon as anything starts. I can be there in 8 hours." "I will. Promise me you'll call." "I promise." On a Tuesday evening I was scrolling Facebook and saw a post from Chelsea's sister Nicole. "Baby's coming. At hospital now." My heart stopped. I immediately called Damon. No answer. Called again. No answer. Texted, "I saw baby is coming. Which hospital?" "I'm coming up." I waited. Started throwing clothes in a bag. Started getting ready to leave. 2 hours later, Damon finally texted back, "Pennsylvania Hospital." "But Mom, Chelsea only wants her family here. Maybe wait until we're home." I stared at that text. Only her family. I wasn't family. I texted back, "I won't intrude, I'll just be in the waiting room. I need to be there." No response. I got in my car and drove. 15 hours through the night. And when I arrived at the hospital at 6 in the morning, exhausted and emotional, my son told me to leave. Told me I wasn't wanted. Told me only Chelsea's family belonged there. I drove 15 hours back to Atlanta in a fog of hurt and exhaustion. Arrived home Wednesday evening, collapsed into bed, slept for 12 hours. When I woke up Thursday, I checked my phone. No messages from Damon. I checked Facebook. Chelsea had posted, "Welcome to the world Justin Leonard Patterson. Born November 12 at 7:42 p.m. 7 pelbits 4 us, 20 inches, perfect in every way." There were dozens of photos. Chelsea holding the baby. Barbara holding the baby. Richard holding the baby. Chelsea's siblings holding the baby. Chelsea's grandmother holding the baby. A whole family meeting Justin. A family I wasn't part of. I finally got a call from Damon at 11 p.m. Thursday. "Mom, baby's here. Justin Leonard Patterson. He's healthy. Everything went well." I saw on Facebook. "Congratulations, baby." "Thanks. Sorry I didn't call sooner. It's been crazy. Can I come visit now? I can drive up this weekend." "Let's wait a bit. Chelsea needs recovery time. Give us a couple weeks to get settled." "A couple weeks? Damon, he's my grandson." "I know, Mom. I know. But Chelsea's overwhelmed right now. Her mom is staying with us to help. Let's just give it some time. Can you at least send me some pictures?" "Yeah, I'll send some." He sent 2 pictures, just the baby in a hospital blanket. No context, no family members, nothing personal. Meanwhile, Chelsea's social media was exploding with content. Photos of Barbara holding Justin. "So blessed to be a grandma." Good. Photos of Richard holding Justin. Grandpa already spoiling this little guy. Photos of Chelsea's siblings holding Justin. Best aunt ever. Photos of Chelsea's whole family together with Justin. 4 generations. Blessed family. Not one mention of me. Not one acknowledgement that Justin had another grandmother. I was erased. Days went by. I texted Damon asking about visiting. He kept putting me off. "Next week maybe. Chelsea's still recovering. The baby's on a tough schedule right now. Maybe after Thanksgiving." I stopped asking. It hurt too much. And then 4 days after Justin was born I got a phone call that changed everything. "Is this Patricia Patterson?" Yes, this is she. This is Jennifer from Pennsylvania Hospital Billing Department. Your grandson Justin was born here 4 days ago. My heart lifted for a moment. Maybe they were calling to tell me visiting hours. Maybe there was some paperwork I needed for grandparent visitation rights. Maybe I'm calling about the bill. The delivery charges totaled $10,300 after insurance. Your son Damon listed you as the financially responsible party. How would you like to pay today? The world stopped. Excuse me, I said slowly. The balance is $10,300. We can set up a payment plan if needed, but we need at least a $2,000 down payment today to prevent the account from going to collections. I never agreed to pay this bill. I never signed anything. Your son provided your information and stated you'd be covering the delivery expenses. We have your name, address, and social security number on file. Do you have a credit card we can process? My shock was turning into cold, hard fury. No, I will not be paying this bill. Ma'am, your son listed you as responsible. I was told I wasn't wanted at the hospital. I drove 15 hours to be there for my grandson's birth, and was turned away at the door, told only Chelsea's family was welcome. I wasn't allowed to see my grandson. I wasn't allowed to visit. I've been excluded from his life entirely, but somehow I'm responsible for paying. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. I understand that's a complicated situation, but the bill still needs to be paid. By the people who incurred it, by my son and his wife. Not by me. I am 67 years old. I'm a retired nurse of 40 years. I know hospital billing procedures. You cannot legally make me responsible for charges I never agreed to pay. My son committed fraud by listing me without my knowledge or authorization. Ma'am, I want to speak to your billing supervisor and patient advocate immediately. I will be filing formal complaints about this fraudulent billing practice, and I'll be contacting my son to ask him to explain why he thinks excluding me from my grandson's life entitles him to my money. Please hold. I waited, my heart pounding, my hands shaking. A new voice came on the line. Male, older, more authoritative. Mrs. Patterson, this is David Chen, billing supervisor. I understand there's been some confusion about the charges for your grandson's delivery. There's no confusion, there's fraud. My son listed me as financially responsible without my permission. I've pulled up the account. I see your son did provide your information as a guarantor. However, you're right that we need written authorization from you to make you legally responsible. We don't have that. Then remove my name from all billing documents immediately. I'll process that right now. I apologize for the error. The account will revert to your son as the responsible party. Good. And I'll be following up in writing to ensure my name is completely removed and that this doesn't affect my credit in any way. You have my word, Mrs. Patterson. Again, I apologize. I hung up. And then I immediately called Damon. He answered on the third ring. Hey Mom, what's up? We need to talk, I said, my voice ice cold. I'm kind of busy right now, the baby. You listed me as financially responsible for Justin's birth, a $10,300 hospital bill. Without asking me, without even telling me. Silence on the other end. Then, we needed help with the costs. I thought you'd want to contribute to your grandson. Contribute? My voice rose despite my best efforts to stay calm. Damon, I drove 15 hours to be there for his birth and was told to leave. Told I wasn't wanted. Told only Chelsea's family mattered. But you think you can bill me $10,000? Mom, we're struggling financially. You're struggling. You make $140,000 combined. You just bought Chelsea a $65,000 Audi for her birthday. You spent $8,000 on a vacation to Turks and Caicos last month. You're not struggling financially. You're living beyond your means and expecting me to subsidize it. We have the baby now. Expenses are different. Then you pay for your baby. I already gave you $85,000 for college, $40,000 for your house, down payment, $18,000 for your wedding. I've given you over $165,000 in the past 12 years. And you repay me by excluding me from my grandson's life and then billing me. Mom, it's not like that. Then what is it like? Explain it to me. Because from where I'm standing, you and Chelsea decided I'm not family enough to meet my grandson, but I'm family enough to pay for him. Silence. Whose idea was this? I demanded, billing me for the delivery. Whose idea? Another long pause, then quietly. Chelsea thought, since you have retirement savings and no mortgage, you could afford it more than we can. Something in my chest cracked. So Chelsea decides I'm not family enough to be at the hospital, not family enough to meet Justin, not family enough to visit, but I'm family enough to be an ATM. She didn't mean it like that. Then how did she mean it? Because it sounds exactly like she wanted my money, but not my presence. She wanted a grandmother ATM, not a grandmother. That's not fair. What's not fair is you letting your wife disrespect your mother. What's not fair is you excluding me from the biggest moment of your life and then expecting me to pay for it. What's not fair is you choosing her family over yours, over and over and over, and still expecting my financial support. Her family has been really helpful. Her mom has been staying with us. Because you let them, you invited them, you welcomed them, you drove me away, and now you want to charge me for the privilege of being rejected? I could hear Damon starting to cry.
Good.
He should cry. I didn't mean to hurt you, Mom. But you did. You've been hurting me for years. Every time Chelsea made a cutting comment and you said nothing. Every time her family was included and I was excluded. Every time you chose keeping Chelsea happy over treating your mother with basic respect. You hurt me, Damon. And this bill, this assumption that you can just take my money while keeping me away from my grandson, this is the final straw. What are you saying? I took a deep breath. I'm saying here's what's going to happen. 1. You're going to call that hospital right now and take financial responsibility for your own child's birth. If you can't afford it, sell the Audi. Cancel your gym membership. Cut back on restaurants. Figure it out like every other parent in the world. Mom. 2. You're going to have a serious conversation with Chelsea about excluding me while expecting my money. That's unacceptable. You don't get to have it both ways. She's not going to like that. I don't care what she likes. I care about being treated with dignity and respect. What about Justin? You're going to punish your grandson because you're mad at us. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm protecting myself. I'm setting boundaries I should have set years ago. When you're ready to treat me like family instead of an ATM, call me. Until then, you're on your own. Mom, please. I love you, Damon, but I'm done being used. I'm done being disrespected. I'm done enabling you to live beyond your means, while treating me like garbage. You and Chelsea figure out your finances without me. I hung up. Damon tried calling back immediately. I didn't answer. He called 5 more times. I didn't answer. He texted, Mom, please pick up, we need to talk about this. I didn't respond. He texted, I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much we'd hurt you. I didn't respond. He texted, please don't cut us off. Justin needs his grandmother. I turned off my phone. The next few days were hard. I cried a lot, felt guilty, wondered if I was overreacting. But then I'd remember that hospital waiting room. Chelsea's whole family there, comfortable and included, me being told to leave. I'd remember 15 hours of driving through the night to be rejected. I'd remember years of microaggressions, of being treated as less than, of being excluded while being expected to fund their lifestyle. And I knew I'd made the right choice. 2 weeks went by. I didn't hear from Damon. Then I got a call from my sister Janet. Girl, have you talked to Damon lately? No. We had a falling out. I heard. The whole family's heard. Damon's been telling people you abandoned them, that you refused to help with the baby, that you're being selfish and cruel. My blood boiled. That's not what happened. I didn't think so. You want to tell me what really happened? I told her. Everything. The exclusion from the pregnancy, the hospital rejection, the $10,300 bill I never authorized. Oh hell no, Janet said. Girl, you need to set the record straight. Damon's out here painting himself as the victim and you as the villain. I don't want to air family business. Family business gets aired when family members lie. You need to tell your side. So I did something I rarely did. I made a Facebook post. For family and friends who have been asking why I haven't met my grandson Justin. I drove 15 hours from Atlanta to Philadelphia to be present for his birth. When I arrived at the hospital, I was told I wasn't wanted. Only Chelsea's family was welcome. I respected their wishes and left, driving another 15 hours home. 4 days later, I received a call from the hospital billing department. I was informed that the delivery bill was $10,300 after insurance, and that my son had listed me as financially responsible without my knowledge or consent. I was expected to pay for a birth I wasn't allowed to attend, for a family I'm apparently not considered part of. I declined to pay the bill. I also informed my son that I will no longer be providing financial support while being excluded from his life and my grandson's life. I love my son and grandson, but I will not accept being treated as an ATM while being excluded as family. I've given over $165,000 to support my son over the past 12 years. That support is now ended. Family is about mutual respect, love and inclusion, not just financial extraction. To those who want to judge me, I worked 40 years as a nurse to build financial security. I will not allow anyone, including family, to exploit that security while disrespecting me. I wish Damon, Chelsea and Justin well. When they're ready to treat me with the respect and inclusion that family deserves, I'll be here. I posted it and turned off my phone for the night. By morning, the post had 200 plus comments and had been shared dozens of times. Most comments were supportive. Patricia, I had no idea. You were right to stand up for yourself. That's disgraceful. How they treated you. I'm so sorry. Good for you setting boundaries. They can't have it both ways. Some comments were critical. Family should support each other no matter what. You're wrong to withhold help from your grandson. This is private family business that shouldn't be on Facebook. You're going to regret this when Justin grows up asking why his grandmother wasn't in his life. And some comments were from Chelsea's family. Chelsea's sister Nicole. This is so one-sided. You're making Chelsea sound terrible when she's just trying to protect her family. Chelsea's mother Barbara. Disappointed to see this family drama aired publicly. Praying for healing. I didn't respond to any comments. I'd said what I needed to say. The post went semi-viral in our extended family and community. People were talking about it at church, at family gatherings everywhere. My phone started ringing with relatives wanting the full story. Some supportive, some trying to mediate, some taking Damon's side. I told the truth to everyone who asked. I was excluded, and then billed. I set boundaries. That was it. 3 weeks after Justin's birth, Damon texted, "Mom, can we please talk?" I didn't respond. A week later, "Mom, I'm sorry, really sorry. Can we talk?" I didn't respond. Another week, "Mom, Chelsea and I have been talking. We want to make this right." I didn't respond. Christmas came and went. Damon sent photos of Justin, now 6 weeks old. Beautiful baby. My grandson who I'd never met. It hurt. God. It hurt. But I didn't break. In January, 2 months after Justin's birth, Damon called from a number I didn't recognize. I answered without thinking. "Mom, please don't hang up." I should have hung up, but I didn't. "What do you want, Damon?" "I want to apologize. Really apologize. In person. Can I drive to Atlanta?" "Why?" "'Cause you were right. About everything. And I need to tell you that face to face." I thought about it. "Fine. This Saturday, 2 p.m., my house." "Thank you, Mom. Thank you." Saturday came. Damon showed up at exactly 2 p.m. He looked terrible. Exhausted. Stressed. Like he'd aged 5 years and 2 months. We sat in my living room, the same living room Chelsea had called cozy years ago. "Talk." I said. "Mom, I'm sorry. You were right about everything. Chelsea and I have been struggling hard financially. The hospital bill, the baby expenses, our car payments, everything. We're drowning. Chelsea's parents helped some, but not as much as we expected. They already spent so much on the nursery and shower." "Sounds like a problem you created." I know we live beyond our means. Chelsea's used to a certain lifestyle, and I've been trying to give it to her, but I can't. Not without your help. And I realized, we've been using you, taking your money while treating you like you don't matter. Took you long enough to figure that out. I know, I'm stupid. I was so focused on making Chelsea happy, on fitting into her family's world, that I forgot about my own mother, about where I came from, about who actually sacrificed for me. Chelsea's family didn't do anything wrong, I said. They loved their daughter, they supported her, they were there for her. That's what family does. The problem isn't them. The problem is you. You let me be excluded. You participated in treating me as less than. You built me without my permission. That's on you, not Chelsea's family. I know. Chelsea's family is great. But Chelsea herself, Mom, she was wrong. So wrong. And I was wrong for going along with it. What changed? We've been in couples therapy. Our therapist asked Chelsea to explain why she didn't want you at the hospital. Chelsea said she just felt more comfortable with her own family there. Then the therapist asked, "And why did you think Damon's mother should pay for the delivery?" Chelsea didn't have a good answer. She just said it made sense because you have money. So I'm a resource to be exploited. That's what the therapist said. She told Chelsea that's not how family works. That you can't exclude someone and expect their support. That she was treating you like a bank account, not a person. And what did Chelsea say to that? Damon looked uncomfortable. She got defensive at first, said her family was raised differently, that grandparents in her world are just different. Expected to contribute financially without needing to be involved. The therapist shut that down hard, told her that's exploitative and wrong. Good therapist. Chelsea and I have been talking a lot. She admits she was wrong. She wants to apologize. Does she, or does she want access to my money again? Mom, I'm serious. Is she sorry because she realizes she hurt me, or is she sorry because the money stopped? Damon was quiet for a long moment. I think it's both. I think she's genuinely realizing how hurtful she's been. But I also think she's panicking because we're struggling financially and her safety net is gone. At least you're honest. I can't afford to lie anymore. We had to sell Chelsea's Audi. We're down to one car now. We canceled our gym membership, cut back on everything. We're on a payment plan for the hospital bill, $500 a month for 20 months. It's tight, really tight. Good. You're learning to live within your means. I am, we are. And Mom, I'm learning what really matters. I've been watching Chelsea's family with Justin. They're there all the time, they're helping, they're involved. And I keep thinking, my mom should be here too. Justin should know both his grandmothers. I robbed you of that. I robbed him of that. Something in my chest loosened slightly. I want to meet him, I said quietly. I want that too. We want that. Can we start over? Can we try to rebuild this? Rebuilding requires changed behavior. Damon, not just words. Not just apologies, changed behavior over time. I know, tell me what you need. I thought carefully. First, Chelsea apologizes to me. In person. A real apology, not a sorry you feel that way non-apology. Done? Second, I need to know that I'll be included in Justin's life. Not as much as Chelsea's parents. They live closer, I understand that. But I need to be acknowledged as his grandmother. I need regular visits. I need photos and updates. I need to be treated like family. Absolutely. Third, and this is non-negotiable, I'm not giving you any more money. No bailouts, no loans, no gifts. You're 34 years old. You figure out your finances. I'll buy birthday presents and Christmas presents for Justin. That's it. Damon nodded. I understand. That's fair. Fourth, if Chelsea ever disrespects me again, I'm out. Permanently. This is her one chance to make this right. She doesn't get a second one. I'll make sure she understands. And fifth, you stand up for me. If she makes a cutting comment, you shut it down. If her family treats me as less than, you defend me. You're my son before you're her husband. Act like it. I will. I promise. I studied my son. He looked sincere. Looked broken down by consequences. Looked like maybe he'd learned something. Okay, I said. Bring Chelsea here next weekend. Let's talk. And bring Justin. I want to meet my grandson. Damon's face broke into the first genuine smile I'd seen from him in years. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for giving us another chance. Don't make me regret it. The next Saturday, Damon showed up with Chelsea and 3-month-old Justin. Chelsea walked into my house looking uncomfortable. Not superior like before, but genuinely uncomfortable. Nervous. She sat on my couch with Justin in her arms. The baby was beautiful. Had Damon's eyes, Chelsea's nose. Perfect. Mrs. Patterson, Chelsea began. Patricia, I corrected. You've been calling me Patricia for years. Don't change now. Patricia, I want to apologize for everything. For excluding you from the pregnancy, from the birth, from Justin's first months, for treating you like you were less important than my family, for expecting your money while not giving you respect. I was wrong, completely wrong. She looked like she might cry. I grew up in a family where grandparents were just different. They contributed financially but weren't super involved. I thought that was normal. I didn't realize how hurtful I was being. I didn't see you as a person with feelings. I saw you as Damon's mom, who had money, who would help us when we needed it. I'm ashamed of that. You should be, I said quietly. I know. Our therapist helped me see how awful I've been, how I've been treating you like a resource instead of a person. Instead of my husband's mother. Instead of Justin's grandmother. I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. I looked at her. She seemed genuine. Broken, humbled, genuine. Thank you for the apology, I said. I accept it. But Chelsea, you need to understand something. Respect isn't something you can turn on and off. If we rebuild this relationship, you have to treat me with consistent respect. Not just when you need something. Always. I understand. And I need to be included in Justin's life. I know I live far away. I know your family is closer and more available. I'm not asking for equal time. I'm just asking to be acknowledged, to be invited, to be included. You will be, I promise. Okay, I stood up. Now let me meet my grandson. Chelsea stood and carefully handed Justin to me. I held my 3-month-old grandson for the first time and I cried. He was perfect. Beautiful, worth everything. Hello, Justin, I whispered. I'm your grandma Patricia. I'm sorry I wasn't there when you were born, but I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. We spent 2 hours together that afternoon. Chelsea was different, quieter, more respectful, making an effort to include me in conversation about Justin. She showed me photos I hadn't seen, told me stories about his first months, asked my advice as a former nurse about baby issues. It wasn't perfect. There was still awkwardness, still hurt feelings that would take time to heal, but it was a start. Over the next few months, Damon and Chelsea made an effort. They sent me photos weekly, called me with updates, invited me to visit. I drove to Philadelphia once a month to see Justin. Stayed in a hotel. I wasn't ready to stay in their house yet and they understood. Chelsea's attitude changed. She introduced me to her friends as Justin's other grandmother. Instead of ignoring me, she posted photos of me with Justin on social media. She made sure I felt included. It wasn't equal to how they treated Chelsea's family. Barbara still saw Justin 3 times a week, still had a key to their house, still was more involved. But I was included. I mattered. I was acknowledged. That was enough. Damon and Chelsea continued struggling financially. They sold Chelsea's Audi, downsized their lifestyle, stuck to a budget. It was hard for them, especially Chelsea, who wasn't used to financial constraints. But they figured it out. Without my money. A year after Justin's birth, we were at a better place. Not perfect, but better. Damon called me on a Sunday afternoon. Mom, I need to tell you something. What? Thank you for setting boundaries, for cutting us off financially, for making us face consequences. You're welcome? I mean it. If you'd kept bailing us out, I'd still be living beyond my means. Chelsea would still be treating you like an ATM. We wouldn't have grown up. We needed to hit rock bottom to change. Rock bottom taught you what I couldn't, I said. Exactly. And Mom, I'm teaching Justin about money differently than I learned. I'm teaching him that money is earned, not given. That respect matters more than stuff. That grandparents are people to love, not banks to drain. Good. That's good. And I'm teaching him about his grandma Patricia. About how you worked 40 years as a nurse. How you bought your house and paid it off. How you built security from nothing. How you're strong and dignified, and don't take disrespect from anyone. I want him to be like you. My eyes filled with tears. That's the nicest thing you've said to me in years. I should have said it years ago. Now 2 years after Justin's birth, I see my grandson regularly. I'm part of his life. Not the primary grandmother. That's still Barbara and that's okay, but I'm present. I'm included. I'm loved. Chelsea and I have a cordial relationship. Not close. Not warm, but respectful. She treats me with dignity. That's all I ever asked for. Damon is a better man than he was. He stands up for me. He sets boundaries with Chelsea when needed. He parents Justin thoughtfully. And I've maintained my boundaries. I've never given them another penny. Birthday presents for Justin? Yes. Christmas presents? Yes. Financial bailouts? No. They've learned to manage without my money. And our relationship is healthier for it. I teach a class at my church now. Setting boundaries with family. 20 to 30 people come each month. I tell my story, the hospital rejection, the $10,300 bill, the year of exclusion, the boundaries I set, the relationship we rebuilt. How do you know when to cut family off? Someone asked last month. You don't cut them off, I said. You set boundaries, you stop enabling, you protect yourself. If they choose to walk away from those boundaries, that's their choice. But you're not cutting them off. You're just refusing to be used. What if you miss important moments? Like a grandchild's birth? I did miss it, and it hurt. But missing a moment was better than sacrificing my dignity. You can't put a price on self-respect. And ultimately, setting boundaries created the opportunity for a healthier relationship later. Do you regret it? Any of it? I thought about that. I regret that it was necessary. I regret that my son let things get that bad. But I don't regret standing up for myself. I don't regret refusing to be exploited. I worked too hard for too long to let anyone, including family, treat me like an ATM. Someone in the back raised their hand. What did you say when the hospital called about the bill? You said you took a deep breath and said something. What did you say? I smiled, remembering that phone call that changed everything. I took a deep breath and simply said, no, I will not be paying for this. Remove my name from all billing documents, or I'll be filing fraud charges against my son. And then I hung up. The room erupted in applause. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say no. No, you can't have my money without my respect. No, you can't exclude me and exploit me. No, you can't treat me like a resource instead of a person. Just, no. That one word changed everything. It cost me a year of missing my grandson's first year. It cost me a relationship with my son for months. It cost me family conflict and judgment and pain. But it bought me something more valuable, my dignity. And that's worth more than any hospital bill.